Our goal is simple: to help you achieve the dream and vision you first had when you thought about starting a business. We're here to make growing your business less complicated. There are building blocks to build a sustainable business. We promise to seek them out and address them all. The Better Your Business Show starts now.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Natalie, your money expert and your host today. Welcome to the Better Your Business Show. On our panel, we have the beautiful executive business coach, Miss Shanna Mavis.
Good morning, Natalie. It's so nice to be here. Guys, or guys and gals, women and men, everyone. We know that if you're here, you're likely a business owner. And if you're a business owner, you're a visionary. You have goals, you have dreams, and you have the commitment to achieve them. But what you may not have, and why we bring this show to you, is to provide you access to experts like the one we're going to see today, but provide you access to experts who can help you grow your business without falling prey to the mindset that you have to fail to succeed. One of the things we always say around here is failure is not required.
That is right. So you are joining us live or watching the replay. Make sure you go to pillar5.com and take your free business assessment so you can see where you're at in your business growth. Are you in seed stage, startup stage, growth, expansion, or maturity? See where you're at and see what you need to do to go next level.
Yes, I'm super, super excited. This is a conversation that's a little bit intimidating for me, because you and I, when we first met and we were talking about it, you just kind of broke me down. It was just like, well, why? Why do you feel that way? What's going on? And because finances is not something that, even though I have experience preparing people's taxes and I can look and I can tell them, okay, looking at this situation here, here's how you can improve. Here's how next year you won't have to worry about this same thing. I can go into that, but personally, it does not give me warm and fuzzies to sit and think about my personal finances and what that really entails, and how to plan and prepare. It's almost too much, and I know I'm not alone in that. There are a lot of people who feel that way, and especially, as we were talking before the show, especially women. It makes us uncomfortable in some respects, and I know there are men out there that feel the same way. However you identify, it really is a conversation that's so important, because so many stages in life, if we're not prepared for it, if we're not planning, then, we let things happen to us instead of controlling that. So I'm excited to hear what our guest today is going to bring to us, give us access to just, or making finance and financial planning more accessible to us. Give me something that will make me want to do it. That's what I'm looking for.
What are you talking about? That's so funny, because to me, it's just the peace of mind around money makes me want to do it, right? Just feeling that I don't have to be stressed about money, that at the end of the day that I have that comfort, peace of mind, and I can focus on other things. To me, that's enough to make me want to do it and get it out of the way. So, but me too, I'm really excited about this conversation. This isn't a conversation that we've had on the show before, but we're in our special edition before we go into season 3. So we are having join us Randa Hoffman. She is a spiritual financial money manager, and she's down here in Newport Beach by me. She's the founder of RadiantWealthPlanning.com, and she wants to help humanity level up, heal, and feel their divine spark again. So I love it. Welcome to the show, Randa.
Thank you for having me. This is really cool. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome. We are thrilled to have you here. So tell us, what made you get into spirituality and money together? That's my first thing that I'm curious about with you.
So I've always been spiritual. I mean, I remember 25 sitting and meditating, and, I'm just like, okay, you don't, have any thoughts, and you just do this. But I did it and I resonated with it. And just all I know is I felt good after that. So it's like, okay, I'll just keep doing it. And then I met my spiritual teacher. She's also a therapist, energy healer, Reiki, all of the above, very intuitive, clairvoyant, right? Her name is Loretta Brown. She's in Bellevue, Washington. And wow, she just took me to the next level, not spiritually, of course, but working on a lot of that shadow work, that inner issues that we have from childhood, our little girl and our little boy self, working on those. So then you really grow into, man, such a beautiful human being. It's almost like the authentic you that intended to come, without all the baggage and hurts and insecurities. And then I was doing finances, personal finances. I started my career at Edward Jones. And I was like, well, I want to do it differently. I don't want this cookie cutter kind of model. I want to do it differently. I want to do it my way. And of course, I didn't know what my way was. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just do it this way, with a new tech stack and new whatever I can figure out that was different. But then I was thinking, you know what? Why don't I bring the whole of me to the forefront? I'm very right and left minded, right? So I'll create investment portfolios. Oh my God, I just geek out on taxes. So, oh my God, this is so awesome. I love taxes so much and tax planning and investments. But then I'll, leave the office and I'll go meditate. It's like, but what about the whole of me? What about the whole of me? Just bring that to the forefront. And it's not like I was always worried about doing that or, I just never thought about it. And so I helped a friend with a guided visualization not related to finance. And it's almost like I was doing one proof of concept after another. And I'm like, this is so in finance. It's unbelievable how many financial goals we can pull out from this process. And so that's how the two came together.
I love it. I think it's so important. And I love what you hit on in the beginning when you were talking about really having to dig deep into our belief systems around money. Where do our belief systems come from? Why is our relationship with money the way that it is? I really believe it all starts there, because if we're not able to touch on those things, we're never able to grow and expand from there. It's a vicious cycle. It's that rat wheel, right? We keep having that same experience instead of going, okay, I need to dig deep, find out, why is my belief here? Why is this triggering me? Why do I get so overwhelmed when it's time to pay the bills? Why is this coming up for me? If we can tap into that, heal that, then we can grow from there. But if not, it's the same thing. And people wonder why. Well, things never change. Well, that's why.
Yeah. And come on, it takes a lot of courage to tap into that and just even ask that right at the beginning, right? Just to face like, I have problems with money. And now if I'm very courageous to look at it, that's scary. That takes a lot of courage. That really, really does. Because now you're so vulnerable. You're showing somebody that you don't know, right? And you don't know how they're going to interact with you and behave and respond when you just open your finances completely. I mean, think about being naked in Times Square. Like, it's like, yeah. I mean,
I'd rather be naked in Times Square.
Not naked in Times Square.
Don't do that. Don't recommend it. Come talk to a financial advisor before you do that. But people would rather go to the dentist before talking to a financial advisor. That's intense. That says a lot about our industry and how we're failing people. And that if I want to come, and that we're creating such a pedestal, and I'm doing a general thing. There's a lot of amazing financial advisors that I know, like amazing. But we're creating such a pedestal. And I see this for so many people. Financial advisors put themselves on a pedestal. I'm a financial advisor. I'm like, oh my God, get over yourself. It's just a job title. It's just a career. It's no biggie. It's really not a big deal. And so when they do that, they're really creating that. They're excluding people from getting the help that they want to get. So shame on us.
Yeah, it's not creating that safe space for people.
Not at all. Yeah. So plenty of times I've heard, and women more than men. Oh, I have so much dollars, X amount of dollars in my checking account or savings accounts, been there for years. Like, I remember when I first moved to California, this was October 2020. First 4 days I was here, after being here for 4 days, I went and had appendix surgery. And after appendix surgery, you know how you got to walk around with the nurse and they're like, okay, just keep. She's like, so I just got a divorce like a year ago and I have the money been sitting in my account. What do you think I should do with it? I'm like, oh my God, this is how dire the situation is. Like, I'm like, oh, sweet pea, this is, we'll talk. But like, that's how much craving we're looking for a resource. We're craving it. It's not like we won't talk to somebody. Just give me somebody to talk to. Who can I sit down and trust? And, will you be compassionate when I show you my life? And it could be a messy, it could be not a messy. I mean, man, I had such a messy financial life. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So how do you show compassion, right?
But that's the thing is who you can trust. There is difficulty there because you hear all of the stories. You hear, and it's a lot if this doesn't work or if they're wrong or if, so many concerns there are for so many of us. But it falls into this, can I trust you? Because I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't want to be in a situation where I'm worse because I trusted you and you didn't know what you were doing. So there is a challenge there, but it is almost as you guys both said it, the safe space, and for me, that was a huge thing is, I, as smart as I thought I was, and I geek out on taxes too, like I was saying at the beginning, I can look at someone's tax situation and I can tell you, here's how you can get out of this next year. Here are things that you can, steps you can take. But with all of that knowledge, looking at my financial situation, which, was horrible. And especially, I guess this is the time to get into it when my husband passed away. It was unexpected. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know, we didn't have life insurance for him. He had, health challenges. And so it was difficult getting life insurance. And we're stuck wondering, okay, is Social Security, how is that going to work? What am I going to do? I'm working and I had a great job, but there's still so many needs and so many unknowns and, still just reeling from he's gone. Just the like you said, it's the oh shit mode. What am I going to do here? And how am I going to take care of everything? And who can I trust? Because the one that I trusted is gone. So having a safe space to say, okay, I'm not sure. I know all of these things, but I don't know how to do this. It was hard for me, ego to just drop down and then knowing that I can go in and you are going to treat me with compassion. You are going to understand and, that I need help and I don't need to be shamed for the situation that I've gotten myself into.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that right? And there's a little, it doesn't matter how smart we are. It doesn't matter. I mean, I have talked to women that are executives and they're like, I don't know anything about my finances. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So we should drop that. Well, I'm really high in my career, so I should know this.
Right.
No, we're not an expert in everything, first of all. It's okay to not know something. I'm not an expert in your career, so why would you expect to be an expert in mine? That's okay. But wow, I mean, really, what you've gone through, first of all, yeah, it's like a, oh crap moment, like deer in headlights, freeze mode. And now who do I trust?
Right.
Because my heart has been broken deeply and I'm grieving. But we're all still on that living level of life that we still need to continue. The mortgage still needs to get paid, the rent, the kids, everybody. And I'm grieving. And now there's money. Half of it is gone. So what do I do? Yeah. Yeah, that's really.
Half of it or all of it. Because Jen, I think at the time you were a stay-at-home mom, right?
No, actually, he was a stay-at-home dad.
Oh, okay.
He was working from home, and but he was there with the kids, and so there was a lot that had to shift. There were a lot of changes that had to be made, and like you said, just the the grief there, it was, when do you have time for all of that? And fortunately, I worked for this great company that, gave me as much time off, that, helped me shift my schedule, that, they were so supportive, which helped along the way. And then, the spiritual people in my realm, those people that were praying for me, that were there, family members that were staying with, whatever. I had a lot of support, but that didn't change there are only so many people that you can trust into your, with your finances, with seeing everything, like I said, I would rather be naked in Times Square. I feel like, honestly, than to go through that process again. And I went through it. And finally, I had family members that, I saw how they were living their lives financially and, doing well for themselves. But I knew there was something to it. And when I opened myself up to them, it was with that. They were so gracious about everything. And, my uncle, he looked at me and he was like, yep, this is a pickle, he saw it, but there was just so much love and acceptance from all of that. And it was just like, I finally felt free, because it was like, I don't know what else I can do. I'm not sure. I've taken all of the steps I thought I should take, and those were wrong, or whether they were, I don't know, they were wrong. Yeah, there's no two ways about it, because of the situation that I found myself in. And so it was like, how do I get out of this? What's that next step that I need to take?
Yeah.
And so we were looking at some options. So I finally felt like I had options there. But it's an embarrassing conversation to have, or so many of us have felt that way. And now I'm just like, nope, I'm happy to, expert here, come, Randa, please help me. Natalie, help me. I'm okay with saying, I don't know.
Which is really interesting, isn't it? Because money is something we use every single day. And when I hear you right now, really that just goes back to the educational component of why aren't we educated in this? And why is there so much shame around money?
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense that we have the stigma around money, materialism, shame around it, which why? But I love what Theyre put on there, which he put, right? How would our lives look different if a way was prepared for us, right? Well, we are ancestors now. It's an obligation to not make following generations repeat the same cycles, right?
I love that.
Yes.
That is so deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why we keep him around. Look at, he's put, we tend to our finances the way our inner circle does. Same applies with our spiritual awareness. How grounded is your crew? Because they're you. And I always think that about Theyre. I was like, he always keeps us so grounded. He's our grounded. But it's
that is so deep. And you know what? Just because we're good at looking at other people's finances, whether it's tax or something, it doesn't mean we're good when it's in home base, really close. We just go like, honestly, financial advisors need financial advisors.
Definitely. Because
Yeah.
there's still an emotion connected to our money. I still have somebody else come in. I'm still, involved in my finances, but I still have to have someone come in because we can't see the picture when we're inside the frame. We need someone else to go, hey, dummy, just like if we're reaching out to a friend, right? Hey, I need to talk to we still need someone to give us feedback. Absolutely.
Yeah. And why, man, I don't know if we could, how do we break that cycle of that shame around money? I was talking to Loretta, my spiritual teacher, and I'm like, Leah, I would like to have a lot of money. She's like, oh my God, say it with power. Like, it's okay to say you want to be rich. I'm like, well, I want to be wealthy. Like, no, say you want to be rich. Like, enough. It doesn't mean you're less than. It doesn't mean you're going to be greedy. It doesn't mean it's not materialistic at all. Money is just a magnifying glass of who you are inside. Man, I'm just such a generous person. I'm so creative. There's so much I want to build and put out in the world. And that's okay to have money to do that. Don't punish future people that are waiting for you to step into your power just because there is something wonky about your belief about money. It's okay. And people are like, well, money is root of all evil. No, not really. Not really. It's the person, actually. And with money, money is just energy. It's just an exchange of energy. That's all it is. And so, yeah, it's so interesting. Man, if we could just change that. And here's the thing. It's not, I was doing I did taxes this last tax season, and and it's so funny because when they know I'm financial advisor, all of a sudden all these questions come out, and I'm like, this is so interesting. And I told even one of the ladies, I'm like, I would love to do free webinars, workshops. I'll do it. I'll do anything free to teach this.
Yeah.
But nobody will show up. So what gives? It's like, so there's some sort of disconnect, and I have yet to figure it out. So if somebody has a genius idea, let me know, because there's questions out there. There's questions, people, women and men too, but I'll say women because they've opened up to me, because it's like, oh my God, another woman, and she's a financial advisor and I'm craving that. So maybe it's that, but man, there's so many questions. There's so many, and it doesn't have to be anything, crazy. We're not doing financial planning, while we're doing taxes. We do a little tax planning, but it's something basic. You know what? Do I put money in my 401k or Roth 401k? Okay, let's look at the tax chart and let's connect the dots. And man, I love explaining things to them. So it's just so interesting.
It's empowering. And once we feel empowered, we like to talk about it, I think, right? There's not all that shame around it. We feel confident. I think a part of the stigma is we're just uneducated. We don't know. When are we teaching this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Because I took a couple extra classes in college. That's how come I learned this stuff. And if I decide I want to take the classes, right, we're not getting any education around this. And even if we're just going to go down the rabbit hole a little bit, I mean, we're being, I can't think of the word I want to use right now, but even if you look at cartoons, the villains in the movies are always the wealthy person. Again, it goes back to the stigma of I'm selfish, I'm greedy, I'm whatever if I have money. I was watching, this is horrible. I should not even say some of the stuff I watch on TV to you guys. I was watching Cooking with Paris, right? Paris Hilton was going on there. And she's I'm like, can Paris really cook? I have to see this, right? But she's on there and she's with Sweetie, and Sweetie keeps calling Paris like a bad boss, rich bitch, something like that, right? And Paris was like, I like it that you keep calling me like that. I've never called myself that before. And I was like, you are Paris Hilton. Like, you don't look at yourself and go, I'm a rich bitch, right? You know what I mean? So it's just interesting, but that's how her whole life she's been around that. So it didn't stand her identity like it did for Sweetie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really doesn't matter what you're born into. Right. I mean, I was born, in the Middle East in Amman, Jordan. Well, actually I was born in Saudi, but we lived in Jordan. Okay. We were okay, middle class, but wow, it really goes on. And the energy that's in the household really sets you up. It really sets you, because it's like, oh, am I worthy? Do I deserve to have this? What if I start in finances and nobody's going to trust me? That's everything my mom did. I mean, let's just be real. Where is it coming from? Where is it coming from? And then you have somebody that vice versa can be in I don't know, man, I've seen so many, there's plenty of movies out there that they underprivileged families, and then they become badasses in their own right? And you're like, where does that come from? Where does that come from? But yeah, it really doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter, huh?
Yeah, it's something we have to work through.
How do you make it more appealing? Because you said I'll do free webinars, I'll do whatever, and I feel the same way about certain. I feel like education should be free. And I'm not saying specialized skills. I'm not saying anything, but education should be free. We should all have some basic form of education when it comes to taxes, when it comes to finance, when it comes to business. All of these things are life skills that we all need to have. But finance is something that a lot of people, it's not interesting. I just want the results. I don't want to know how the sausage is made. I just want the sausage, So how do we change that conversation and make it to where it's just like, okay, some people, this is just high level. Here's what you absolutely have to know, or you absolutely should know going into it, even if that's just, what type of financial planner you should be looking for. because I would rather sit down with someone. I would rather know, not necessarily do, but at least, have that same basic knowledge of here's what my financial situation looks like so that I can monitor that myself. But some people just want someone to do that for them. Is there a way to make this more accessible, more entertaining, interesting to people who just want that high level view?
Yeah, and you're so right, because did you know there are financial advisors that there's a special certification that are for divorce? Like, a lot of people don't know that. So it's like, I can get a financial advisor that has a special credential for divorce situations. It's like, yep, you sure can. Yeah, and you're right. This is such a big realm. And now I just included another little segment, a little variant in it. Like, oh my God, there's that kind of financial advisor. But honestly, I agree with you. If we have the knowledge, it is our obligation to share it. It is our obligation. If we have the knowledge, it is our obligation to share. So go on people's websites, listen to podcasts, find YouTubes. And I'm not saying to every single one, because I love tax podcasts, taxes related. But some people, I cannot listen to them. I'm like, oh my God, this is so boring. Jeez. And I love taxes. So find somebody that resonates with you. I have a ton of videos on the website and on YouTube. I have a podcast related to finances and spirituality. Go find people, and it doesn't have. I'm not saying be an expert in it, but listen to the terms that are being used. Do you want something that's so technical, or do you want somebody that gives you high level? And I think this is on the softer side, is when you try to find a financial advisor that's going to teach you what they're doing in very high level. I'm not going to tell somebody how I'm creating their investment portfolio. They don't care. If they did, they won't be coming to me. So it's okay. And I'll say this, it really is a special skill to be able to communicate high level. It really is. A lot of people don't know how to do that. So find somebody that if you're just doing an intro call, just ask a couple questions that you have. What's the difference between an IRA and a Roth on the intro call, and see how they answer it. And that will tell you how are they going to teach you about your finances along the way. Because if you're like, oh my God, this is just an intro call, and I just asked one very basic question, you can even simplify it, and I just can't, listen to you anymore. And then that's very likely. It's okay. And do a ton of interview people. Interview a lot of financial advisors, a lot. Find people that own their own firm, like myself. Find people that work at big firms like Edward Jones, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, that's at a bank. Find all different types, because every type operates extremely different. Not only how we're regulated on the back end, which is very, 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 very different, but how we can work with clients is also very different. So just take 6 months interviewing different people, and ask them different questions and see how you're interviewing the person. So ask questions. It's okay. It's okay. And if they get annoyed with you, well, they're not your financial advisor again, because you're annoyed that you're asking questions of, oh, do we really have to explain this? Like, oh my God. Yes, you do.
Yeah, and our money's a big deal. I love how you said interview. I always say date around and decide which advisor, because hopefully it's going to be a long commitment or a lifelong commitment with that person, right? So I really would want to take my time, date around. Again, look at their credentials, look at how much experience that they have, how many licenses do they have, what products do they have access to. And even if, let's just say you have an advisor that's not fully licensed, that they're in a partnership with someone that is fully licensed, so that you have access to everything that's out there and the best products for you. I love that Randa talked about that, being patient with you, helping you understand what you have. We need to have the basic fundamentals when it comes to our money. We have to have those things in place. teach us how to do that, and then we can take things next level. But absolutely, I love it. And then the person that's going to specialize in our same goals and value systems. So awesome point. We're going to go into a quick break, and then we will be right back with Randa Hoffman. We're talking women and finance. See you soon.
When I see ESC, I see community, I see connectivity, I see from the business owner and from those who are involved that, you don't have to do it alone.
It's a safe place where I know that we have the same goal and vision, and where our intent is to help people. That's what we're going for first and foremost. And whatever happens is the results of that. But our goal is to help people first.
I think the core values is each component that's coming to the table here. Each brand is a core value of ESC.
It's a joining together of everybody.
Do what our job is, support each other, and be business partners to each other. To me, that's priceless. When Mike said, I've been waiting for this for the 12 years, I'm with you, Mike. I feel like this is the moment that all this is built up is to this moment. And so it's just super exciting. So.
People are looking for solutions. They're wanting to go into one place to support them in all kinds of different areas. And I see this as being revolutionary.
It's just going to benefit so many people in such a profound way.
There's a huge benefit across the board in ways that we don't see, but we all benefit when we all succeed.
I see a new beginning. I see fertile ground for entrepreneurs.
This is a group of people that is coming together to make that happen and then to multiply that. So yeah, we need you. We need everybody to be part of this.
One of the problems that I've had thus far is that I'm going on my experience. I'm building a business on my heartache. And one of the things that I've had to take out of that is you can't build a business entirely on emotion. And so this allows me to take the emotion out of it. This is what you need to do, whether you like it or not.
All right, and we are back with Randa Hoffman, spiritual financial planner and money manager. We just had that awesome with the ESC program. That is the 21-day challenge is starting today, actually. So I know we have ESC, we're private groups is being streamed in there. So your challenge starts today. So excited for your fast start. Tomorrow is going to be at 1 p.m. We'll have Jane Sanders, Purpose Whisperer. She's going to be your first live start challenge tomorrow, 30 minutes. Watch her live in the group. It's going to be awesome. And I forgot to write down, there it is. Your scientific hand analysis impacts personal and professional success. So Jane Sanders, Purpose Whisperer, that's tomorrow. So if you're not in the group, join the group, escforbusiness.com. Put in your basic information, join our Facebook group, start your challenge, and compete for some grant money. That's going to be a great time. So, all right, Randa, we are back and we are talking women and money. Thank you for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
So right before the break, you mentioned different segments of financial planners and interviewing or dating, as Natalie likes to put it. But I didn't even realize that there were like specialized financial planners. You know, when I think financial planning, I think it's all encompassing. And I think of those big guys, you know, the Edward Jones, the Morgan Stanleys, all of those companies like that. But when my situation happened, when my husband passed away, there was, and I just want to make sure that I understand this so that we can share this, you know, educate everyone else. If something like that unexpected happens, there are financial planners that specialize in helping you through that, looking at your situation from that point and saying, okay, what are you trying to accomplish? Here's how you do that.
Yeah. There's actually planners that help women that go through the grieving process. Specifically, they only work with women that have lost a loved one.
Wow.
Right? So there is, so just know there are different types. There are people, financial planners, that work somehow at the beginning of their career. They connected with, an executive at PACCAR, for example, and that executive retired, and now all his others or her other buddies are retiring. So now that person is a subject matter expert, a SME in PACCAR benefits. And so there are people that, quote unquote, niche down to that level of detail. So put Google, financial advisor for, a grieving widow or widower, right? You will find it, but put niche down as much as you want, and you will find somebody. I talked to a lady, she's here in Northern California. She's like, I actually put in spiritual financial planner. That's never happened, but that's really cool. So people are Googling as opposed to financial advisor near me. Really? Does it really need to matter geographically anymore? I think the pandemic has showed us that there's no borders or boundaries anymore. We can work anywhere. Hello, look at us, right? I even have a client that is about 10 minutes. She lives 10 minutes away from where I'm at here in Newport Beach, and we do Zoom. That's our meetings is on Zoom. We met for coffee just to chit chat and hang out and actually meet her in person. But we do Zoom. It's like that's how we are. 3 years ago, people were like, why are you on Zoom? That's kind of shady. Where's your office? Now it's like, just like, why do you have an office?
Yeah. So we have a question. It says, does a woman need to be religious or a professional in order to begin merging or balancing their spirituality with their finances?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. We were talking about this before we started the show. Spiritual does not mean only religious, and it doesn't mean that you're not religious, right? It's not one or the other. Spiritual, I mean, who's really spiritual? Love him or hate him, that's up to you. But Joel Osteen, that guy, we know he's Christian, right? We all know that. He is so spiritual. It is unbelievable. I'm like, this guy talks about law of attraction all the time. He talks about following your heart. That's spiritual, believe it or not. So it's not, don't put it in a box.
Yeah.
Right. Don't put it in a box. How does it make you feel? Do you follow your heart? Right? That's spiritual. And you could be any religion out there. I was raised Muslim. I went not Muslim, away from Muslim, but even there's a lot of things in the Quran that is so spiritual. Yeah. And so it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And, and Shanna, even to go to specific financial advisors, I have a financial advisor friend. He's faith-based, means that's his thing. He wants people that are within the Christian faith. So you can find anybody, even something like that specific. But he's spiritual. We did a podcast together, and he's talking about the same thing. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Good question.
It is a good question. And I love that you broke it down, because I think that's the other struggle that many of us have is we do want to box things up. Not realizing the beauty and the power of just accepting people where they are. And my belief doesn't have to be your belief but if I want someone that, we align like that I can find someone that way, that, spirituality is a broad spectrum. But it doesn't really change the finance part of it. So I like that you combine those two, and that you're looking at that, and that you gave freedom there. Again, there's that freedom and that safe space to say, whatever background, whatever you are, you know, you're following your heart. You're following your path. Let me help you get to that point, no matter which path you're trying to take. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah. You know, there's a Facebook group that are for financial advisors that I'm in. And the question I just threw out there to the group, what is your niche? You know, within what you do, what is your niche? I think I got 50 different answers. And I'm like, wow, we are so broad. We are so broad. And so if you want to tie it down to the spirituality part of it, is, yeah, you know, if a client comes to me and they're like, Randa, that is not my thing. I don't want to do a guided visualization. Can I just tell you, these are my goals? Can we just do that? I'm like, yeah, of course. You know, that's okay too. I mean, we could do that. You know, I'm not going to be like, okay, let's bring the oracle cards out. I mean, I got
Today's message.
I got my little instinct going on over here, and I talk to my, you know, higher self and spirit guides. I have everything is going on, you know. But if somebody's not into that, I don't freak them out. But
I would assume they have to be a little bit if they've made it that far to you at that point, though. They should know at that point it's going to be a little bit out of the box if they've made it, you know, right in your schedule.
And here's the crazy thing. I am talking to so many people that never meditated, never done anything within, you know, if you think the spiritual realm, right? Never done anything like that. But they're like, I'm curious. Now something is triggered in me. Like, I want to know, what are you doing? What are you doing over there? So, you know, we do a guided visualization. I guide the client or even prospective client through a visualization. It's about 5 minutes, and we just go visit their elder self. And the elder self is this, you know, think about 97, 98-year-old self that has already lived the life, but has done it following their heart's calling, has fulfilled their soul's mission. And so we ask this elder self, what did you do in this life? You know, where did you go? What did you accomplish? Who were you with? And the client just sits with the elder self. There's more to it, but anyway, the client just sits with the elder self and listens. What does the elder self share with you? And I have a recording of that guided visualization on the podcast. If anybody's curious, knock yourself out, enjoy it. And so we come back present moment and like, what did your elder self share with you? And that's how we get that blueprint of what for this lifetime. What is the total meaning for this lifetime for you? Not once. All religion falls into that. You know, we're not born just to have a retirement goal at 65, and hopefully at 65 you're still willing and able and have the drive to go follow your goals, right? We all talk about that same thing. So how do we connect financial goals, which I'm really good at pointing that out, because people are like, well, you know, I want to do this. I'm like, that's a financial goal. That's a financial goal. That's a financial goal, right? And we're not to overwhelm you, but don't worry. Like, so it's all there. It's all there. Now, when we talk about life insurance, now it's not like you have to get life insurance because if something happens to you, you got to take care of your spouse. You know, that's so lame. When I was at Edward Jones, nobody did anything. Nobody listened to me. I would even tell them, next quarter, we're going to talk about life insurance. I would not see them next quarter. They'll go MIA on me.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important. It's undervalued. But now when we have this blueprint, that is not what I say they should have their life. This is theirs. So their heart, that light, that divine light, that divine spark in their heart, all of a sudden just ignited. And now you have a zest for life. Now you're excited. Now you want to do something. Yes, I want to protect this life. Yes. You know, and then we can geek out, do like, well, actually, we could use life insurance as a mega Roth. We could do this, you know, so we could geek out on it. But it just starts with, let's start that with that spark and see what you're here for and build from that.
I love that, Randa, because if you don't get the spark going, nothing else matters.
It's so lame. Put $500 in your Roth IRA. Okay. Like, there's no emotion to it. Come on, this is hard-earned money. It's hard-earned money. Let's
it's our time.
Have some emotion to it.
Definitely. Is there a reason that made you want to specialize in working with women?
So I'll say this. did start, I'm like, okay, the firm is going to be different because it's going to be women only. And then when I went the spiritual route, I'm like, you know what? If a guy came to me and said, Randa, I really resonate with what you're saying, I can't be like, sorry, no, I can't help you.
You're a guy.
You're a guy. I don't want to get sued. But it's like, really at the end of the day, if my soul's purpose is to elevate humanity, it's humanity.
Right.
I don't care. Are you blue, green, purple? What are you? I don't care. You're a soul, and your soul decided to come to earth for a specific purpose. How can I help you fulfill that purpose and you be the best version of yourself, the most authentic, beautiful version of yourself? Because when you step into that, there are people in the future that are waiting for you to step into that are waiting for you, because there is a soul contract between you and them. How selfish of you to not step into the most beautiful version of yourself, right? And so I did shift a little, but still naturally, the firm is mostly women. So it's okay too.
Okay, God crash. I have to just jump in here.
No. Party crasher.
I just did that.
I just have to let the guys know. No, there are guys here. Don't worry about it.
Yes, thank you.
One of the things that you were talking about with the guided visualization, I think people hear words like that and it sounds mystical and it sounds magical. And it's just, when you were talking, it just reminded me of just the vision process, and having that vision for your business, for your life. When we think about business owners, so we went through this exercise. I was looking it up, the Zingerman's Bakery, and they have this Zing train that they do where they go through this process of you creating a vision for your business, for your personal life. You can do it, you can apply it any way, but it's a year from now or 5 years from now, what does it look like? And it sounds like that's the process that you're going through, taking it farther out there's nothing mystical about this. There's just a matter of, you have to have some picture in order to know where you're going. And then it's those milestones that you're helping them establish along the way. So I think that's amazing, as you uncovered it, because when you say guided visualization, I know there are a lot of people who are just like, okay, I know what those two words mean. But when you stick them together, what are you guiding me to? And what does this process look like? But it really, I loved when we went through that exercise as an organization where they were just like, okay, tell us, you have to have some picture. Describe that picture in words. And once you have that, then I know I can take these steps. I can start breaking that down, or at least I have some view. And when I work with any of the clients that I've worked with, that's one of the first things that I'm doing. What does your business look like? Because I can't help you get to a blank space. I can't help you when you just say, I want to make a lot of money. Well, but what does all of this, to what end? What are you really trying to do? Because I may not be the one, that may be a conversation for Randa or Natalie, where it's like, okay, I want to get rich. Okay, well, let me pass you on to someone. But if you want to talk about how to help your business make money, then I need to know what your business is supposed to look like, what your clients are supposed to feel, what your employees are supposed to be excited about when they walk in the door. How does all of that look? And so I love that process, that's part of the process that you're going through. And again, with it being in this spirituality, calling that as, following your heart. Well, I think that's beautiful. And I would love to, I'm excited to check out the podcast, honestly, because I want to learn more about how you're educating people, how you're working with them, how you're creating that safe space that we all need.
I flip it around. So if I flip it around, so if somebody asks me, actually Loretta did ask me, I think it was 2017, when you pass away, right before you pass away and you look at your life, what do you want to have created? How do you want it to look? And I'm like, I want a financial empire. She's like, okay, well, what does that mean? I can't tell you. So if I came to somebody and said, how do you want your life to look like? A lot of people don't know how to visualize the future. A lot of people don't. It is really hard to do, actually, unless now I'm very clear on what it looks like. But man, I've been on this journey. So now it's like, oh, okay. Now I'm starting to see it. But if you asked me in 2017 to build out the journey to do it, I don't know. All I have to do is I just know what's my next step. That's all I can know. That's all I can tell you is my next step. I have to work at Edward Jones. You have to get in the game if you want to change the game. Okay, go. That's all. So I flip it around. And I'm not asking our mind, because now the mind has ego, it has insecurities, it has hurts and pains and approve, and it has all other things. We're asking the elder self that has already lived the life. So it's taking us away from it and just stepping back. The elder self, if you really want to get technical, it really is your higher self. It is the most perfected version of you. But don't let that stress you out. It's like, I'm not going to be perfect. Don't overanalyze it. And so people are like, well, what are we doing? I'm like, oh, I'm going to guide you. Don't worry. They're like, well, I can't meditate. I'm like, this is not meditation. It's a guided visualization. I can't visualize. Don't worry about it. It's 5 minutes, really. It's not. And I guide the client through it. Everybody comes back. Most everybody comes back with tears in their eyes because they just felt something they haven't felt before, or they haven't felt it in a very long time. That's beautiful. Can you do that with your rational mind? No, because we're so, our rational mind, our mind is so, come on, there's so much. If you want to go, Joel Osteen, God is so powerful. Step back and let him work. And, there's so much going on behind the scenes. Our mind can only see these certain opportunities, this certain life, this certain thing. Wow, it's amazing how amazing stuff pop out from out of the blue. You just have no idea. So that's why I flip it around.
I love it.
It's so true. Clarity is everything, because if we're not clear, we don't know where we're going, what we want, any of those other things. When we take that time, the challenge is most of us aren't slowing down to take that time to get clear. All of a sudden you get me in front of Randa. This is probably the first time I've really ever sat down to get clear. And the other thing too, is we have to give ourselves the grace, because we're not used to doing that, right? We have to practice doing that. I love, so Gabby Bernstein talks about, I think she calls it your inner guidance system, and really taking the time to be in that space. And so I think that as we're learning to tap into that, you have to kind of just take that time, Randa, like you said, taking the time, practicing, tapping into using that intuitive part of you, right? And see how it plays out, and then getting used to being in that space when you're making your decisions. Love that you touched on that. Very powerful. We have to trust ourselves and learn to trust ourselves more, instead of what everyone else is telling us we should do, or how things should be, or blah, blah, blah. Because we're all different purpose, different journey, different experiences, different everything. Personally, we have to start learning to trust as ourselves, I think. Personally.
And that's deep. That is so deep. Once you trust yourself, where does that come from? Self-love. I love myself, not in the ego way, not in I think I'm all that, all awesomeness, and, not like that, but self-love into I am worthy. Wow. If I'm worthy, there's self-love. I can trust my own instincts, because I know I'm taking care of me, is taking care of me. It's like, oh, I remember telling Loretta once, like, I don't know if I can trust my instincts, because it always led me into bad relationships or jobs, or and she's like, well, really, that's not a true statement either, because one, you needed to get in those bad relationships because that's what pivoted your life. You really needed to get into that job because now you have these skills that you're going to carry for other jobs 10 years in the future. So don't feel like your instincts is always going to give you a Pollyanna life, because that's not true either. Your instinct is always going to give you the experiences that you need for your life's journey, for your soul's purpose. Every soul comes to, and I'll tell you this, I was born to a mother that was very clear she did not want me. She was very clear she did not want me. And when I was 18, almost 19, she's like, you're dead to me. She disowned me. She's like, and we haven't spoken since, and there's more to it. But anyway, but there's a reason I was born to a mother like that. Having that hard life, it's not an accident. Everything is on purpose. Divine is amazing. There's no accident in how things are done. So trust your instinct. If you get into a crappy relationship, that, wow, that's supposed to propel you to heal, because you need to heal for this next link in your life, and this next link, and this next link. So just know that, man, be gentle on yourself. Wow. We beat ourselves up. Everybody does. Be gentle on yourself. Put that flog down. Stop beating yourself up. That is, oh, that's so heavy. That's really heavy on my heart for people. I wish people just be gentle, be kind to yourself. But that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
It is.
It really is. I love it. So you can check out Randa, go to her website and learn more about her. So radiantwealthplanning.com. Thank you for joining us. I can't believe it's already almost 9 o'clock. I feel like we just started the conversation. I could keep going. I was like, we have to wrap it up already. Oh my gosh. So thanks for joining us. Go listen to her podcast. She's all over social media. She's in Newport Beach, part of eWomen's Network. So we're back in person meeting again. So you can come to any of our in-person events, meet her or I there, right? We have a good time together. So, and look at Theyre. What? That's it. Bring her back. Bring her back. Theyre, you're just going to have to come to California. You can come see us.
Or it's okay. You could do that too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Randa. We'll definitely have you back. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Miss Shanna, take away from today.
Wow. There was so much, but this is something that people didn't see. There were a couple of things that really stood out. And it was one of the things that you just said, having grace for yourself. As crazy as that is, that's kind of the heart of my takeaway, because I think that's a challenge for so many of us, is that grace for ourselves, that letting go of, I have to know everything. Or if I don't, I'm less than. And it's not about that at all. It just means that there's someone there that's meant to help me get through this, and opening myself up to that. And I love, just Randa's personality and the way that she breaks things down, in her passion and heart for helping people, through whatever means they need. It wasn't about her. That was one thing that she made very clear, was that, if this is too much for you, we don't have to go that process. Let me help you in a way that makes it easy for you. And so that accessibility is something that I think is missing. But Theyre said something here that I don't know if it popped up for everyone, but belief, to accept something to be true that you actually do not know. Believe your beliefs, but question everything. All answers are inside, wrapped up in self-love. And I thought that was beautiful and well worth sharing. So, take that to heart, everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Theyre's
I know. Okay, what about you? What was your takeaway?
Mine was the same. I love that, Randa. I mean, clearly you can tell that she does create that safe space for people. And so that, I think, is just a really beautiful thing, because we do need to be talking about this more. So obviously you can see that about her. And so I love that she's bringing that to the community to make a difference in that way. But I think the biggest thing for me too was her talking about us having grace on ourselves, because we just don't. We have grace with everybody else, right? But we're always hardest on ourselves. And so when we're able to start giving ourselves grace and pull back and start changing those belief systems, it made me think of, I'll just be honest, on my own journey, how much I've seen it change in my son as I've done that in my own life for myself. I see him doing it for him. When I was hard on myself with all that stuff, he was hard on himself. When I started giving myself grace, he did too. And so that's big on legacy. So that's my takeaway.
I love that. That was a perfect place to end.
All right, good. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next Monday. Make sure that I don't have my list of stuff. I'm all over. Thank you, everyone, for I-Do Systems for sponsoring today's show. ESCforbusiness.com. Join our Facebook group. Dance off, come on, Shannon. And we'll see you next week. Have a beautiful week, everyone.